Isolated. Isolated. You mean to tell me out of all the atrocities this country was built on, you're sitting here trying to brush off cannibalism like it was just some quirky survival tactic? Nah, you don't get to minimalize history like that. Let's dig into this so called exception you're talking about, because the fact you even mentioned a slave ship means you know damn well black people were targeted. So don't insult anyone's intelligence by pretending it was just some one-off horror story. Cannibalism on slave ships wasn't just survival, it wasn't some accident, it was systemic. Slavers crammed people into ships so tightly, starved them so cruelly, that when bodies started piling up from disease and starvation, they treated human beings as disposable commodities. They fed them to other enslaved people or ate them themselves, not out of desperation, but out of calculated depravity. That's not isolated. That's genocide on a menu. And don't you dare try to detach this from the broader culture of consumption. This wasn't just about physical survival, it was about domination. Black bodies weren't just exploited for labor, they were consumed literally and metaphorically to affirm white supremacy. Enslaved people weren't just seen as property, but as flesh to be devoured, whether through forced labor, sexual violence, or yes, cannibalism. White supremacy fed on black pain, black labor, and even black flesh. It's not a one-off horror, it's a pattern of consumption and dehumanization that this country still has not reckoned with. And let's not act like this country's history is full of isolated incidents. That's the problem right there. Every single horror, from slavery to lynching to segregation, is framed like it's just a disconnected tragedy instead of what it actually is, a pattern. Cannibalism wasn't just some twisted survival instinct. It was a part of a larger system that dehumanized black people at every single turn. You want to play it off as some anomaly? Nah, that's just history you don't want to face because it forces you to reckon with how deep this nation's sickness runs. So miss me with the isolated nonsense. Call it what it is, a symptom of white supremacy. You can try to reframe it, sanitize it, excuse it, but at the end of the day, this isn't about pilgrims or traveling groups. It's about a system that saw black lives as less than human, and quite literally as expendable.